District meeting is called to order. Everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Children, you gonna give us a prayer?
Sure, why not?
Where you stand?
Let us pray. Thank you, Lord, for the time that we have come together to share and be productive and progressive in our city. Please guide us and keep us strong in the years to come, the days to come, and tonight. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I know y'all got scared. Y'all said, uh-oh, he under Father Clifton. He gonna And y'all can tell him I said that too.
All right. All district roll call.
District 1,
Present.
District 2,
Present.
District 3,
Present.
District 4,
Present.
District 5, and District 6.
Present.
We have all districts present tonight.
All right. Everybody had a chance to look at the agenda, which is brief.
Very brief.
Any additions, omissions, anything we need to change? We have a motion to approve.
I move we approve the agenda as printed.
Support.
Okay, it's been properly moved and supported. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. All right. Public participation before new business?
That's how I just wanted to do it. I sent it out to y'all to approve.
Okay, public participation. We'll cut you all guard, so we only have one. Deborah Owens.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she switched the order up on me, and we didn't approve the agenda, so it's done.
We want them to get that out before they get it.
Well, good evening.
Good evening.
Councilman Oden will explain what our procedures were in trying to clean up the city. Some time ago, I have given the city council the paper that said how we could clean up the city, block by block, street by street, and then district by district, and we can clean up the whole city. And there's a proposal of how to do that. And so Councilman Oden will explain that. And after we get through, if any of you like that idea, I have a sign-up sheet that people can sign up to be captains and co-captains of a street. So for instance, I have Hazelwood Street from Middle Belt, I don't have the whole street, but I have from Middle Belt to Henry Ruff. And I go down and I audit those houses, and I put in my paperwork how the houses are. You know, like if somebody's got oodles of trash out, I've designed a form that we can fill out, we can complete that form, and the police chief and the code enforcement officers are on board with that. So on that form, you'll see how they are answerable, and we can do a check and see whether or not the work has been done. Like if I say 29501 Hazelwood has a problem with garbage in the front, and I send them the form. And when I see that it's completed, I check on they're completed. There's a follow-up for every single form that you send to the secretary of your committee. So if anybody's interested, let me know, and I'll put the forms out so that people in your district can sign that form and put whether or not they want to be a captain or co-captain of a block or street. So if you just let me know after the meeting, I'll put the forms out.
I thought we were gonna do that at orientation at the next meeting. Clarence, were we supposed to talk about that as a council at orientation at the next meeting? The procedures, did everybody get them, receive them?
No. If you recall, I gave it to you so you could take a look at it.
Okay.
And that's basically the guide that we use our meetings.
And I think we're gonna send them out to all the council people so we can all discuss it at the next meeting.
Okay.
Decide, do we all wanna use the same procedures
Okay.
and do a uniform?
Whether or not you want to go block by block or street
Right.
by street, and captains and co-captains. Okay then.
All right, thank you.
All right.
All right. Mr. Stubbs, come on up. How you doing, sir?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good.
Good evening, council.
Good evening.
The question I have, or concern that I have, is the City of Inkster's emergency plan. In talking to the fire chief, I didn't get anything from him. I looked on the website to see if there's anything viable for the City of Inkster. And the reason why I bring up that concern is because of everything that's happening in and around cities like us. You know, what do the residents do? Where do they go? How do they respond in the event of an emergency? So I had that concern. Being a member of CERT, and I've been there about 5 years, that was one of the concerns that I had. Now, we had began to develop what we called a quadrant for the City of Inkster, where it was divided up in 4 sections. And each member of CERT would have a certain section where they would go out and know the neighbors in their area, know how to respond to certain areas, get to know the residents in the area in case there was an emergency, and you would go to that person's house, they would know who you were. Now, we had ID, but I'm wondering, where is the city on this now? This is not on the website.
He didn't give you a copy of our emergency response plan? We do have one.
Is it on the website?
The chamber, and the chamber is going to be having a meeting in regards to emergency response for residents and businesses.
Okay, I'm not sure, is it on the website, our emergency response program? Because we just updated it.
I'll have to check that.
Okay, if not, we'll put it on the website. But the fire chief didn't share with you?
Well, no, he didn't.
Okay. Well, we do have one. What I plan to do is to start running some public service announcements so we can actually tell people what to do in case of emergency and not wait for one and you know.
That would be proactive.
No one know what to do.
Right.
Why don't we schedule a meeting with myself, members from CERT, and the fire chief, so we can talk about how we want to go about doing it, so everybody's on the same page. Because if you guys don't have our plan, if something happened, you wouldn't even know what we're supposed to be doing.
No, we wouldn't know who to contact. You wouldn't know who to contact. And CERT is a viable entity in the city of Inkster, as they are in all other cities. So, I was just a little concerned about that. And since this is all district form, maybe we can address that.
I'm glad you brought it up. Well, can you call my office tomorrow morning, and then let's put together a meeting.
I certainly can.
Okay,
All
appreciate
right.
it.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair? Are they still meeting? Are CERT still meeting? Are you guys still having meetings like you was before?
Not like we were. Okay. And the reason being, with the advent of the new chiefs. The new chief has a plan. He wasn't aware of CERT's plan. The old chief was.
Okay.
They keep changing the new guard at the fire station. He didn't know us. We didn't know them. He didn't know we had a course that was already outlined for us. So we went through that with him, and he was supposed to have been getting back with us on some sort of training for us. Now, there's been over 30-something members in Inkster that have been trained in CERT.
Right.
He was supposed to come up with another program. But what we told him, we didn't need a complete program. We needed a refresher course. So I don't know what he's coming up with. I have not heard back from him. So,
Because I attended one of the meetings, guys.
Yeah.
Not sure if you were there or not.
Yeah.
But it was very productive and interesting and very knowledgeable.
It was, and we were on our way back to being where we should have been in line with the other cities. But what happened with the new changes at the top, with the new fire chiefs? So that's what kind of threw us off. And then the location to meet, there was issues with that. We had some issues with the fire department. We had some members of our group who tried to take over the fire department.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
And so they kind of put us out. We couldn't meet there anymore, and which I understood. That's their home.
Right.
So I understood that completely. So I explained to them, that, we do need a place to meet where we can gather all the members back. And right now we're kind of fragmented. The members, they want to participate, but if we don't have a place to meet and explain to them what we're trying to do, they kind of
Hopefully we
stand
can
by the
try
wayside.
Hopefully the mayor can try to get that going, because I found that very knowledgeable. People need to know that we do have something and teach you how to, what do you call those packs that we did? Tony, what was those packs?
the first aid pack?
Yeah, the survival.
Survival pack, the ones that we made.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I was
me
there
and you
for
was there,
all
too.
that, you know,
Okay.
so it's a viable entity, like I said, you know. We invited the council to come to that meeting, and you may have been one of the few that came.
and Tim,
Yeah, it wasn't everybody, but and we want the community to get involved, you know, for whatever reason. So whatever you can do, Mr. Mayor, but I'll call your office and
When was this invitation extended? To whom?
oh, you
last
you were
council.
not on council last
Okay,
council.
okay, so
That was
it's
the last
not
council.
something recent.
No, and the reason being, Councilwoman Watley, is because the changes at the fire department. With the new fire chief, he hasn't, you know, he had not got his feet wet here in the city of Inkster. There was a lot of things he was trying to do, so he didn't know what was on first, and CERT was an afterthought.
Right.
So now that we're trying to get it all back together, you know, we'll extend an invitation to all the council people, the persons that are here, and see if you want to come.
Okay.
You know.
We'll put it together.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Luana Mitchell. There's only one.
Yes, indeed, only one Luana.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
No, I'm just. I just want to say thank you to the mayor and the council person and the council people. From the last year when your charter went in effect and we started having district meetings in District 4, and I was the vice president, it just made me make connections in Inkster, and I really appreciate that, and I feel like I'm part of this city, and I respect your office, and I respect our officers, and I had an incident with the police today.
Uh-oh.
It turned out very well, and it was just because, you know, I was kind and he recognized who I was, and I just thank you guys for working with me and allowing me to be part of this city and following the charter.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that's it for public participation, so we'll go into new business. Looks like each district is going to give a report about what they've done, and then also raise any concerns, issues they want to raise. And we're just going to go in order, so we will start with District 1. Advisory report, Mayor Pro Tem Timothy Williams.
Thank you. Well, what we basically talked about, we had three meetings. This will be our fourth one. We didn't have much of a turnout on our first couple of meetings. Well, we had one over in Brookside Park, and if anyone want to know where Brookside Park is, it's across the street from the Baylor Woodson School. Some people didn't know that was called Brookside Park. But nevertheless, we had a nice crowd out there that day, and we were talking about Taylor's school system, because at that time we all thought that Taylor still owned the park across the street from the school. The mayor has informed me recently that that land has been given back to the city of Inkster, and we're waiting for the deed from RISA so we can officially have that land back. But discussions we had was how to revitalize the park. It used to have swings and slides and merry-go-rounds in that park, and we also talked about the basketball court. Now, I'm not sure if the basketball court belonged to the school at that time, or does it belong to housing? It belongs to housing? So we did talk to housing about that, that basketball court. Then maybe we can come up with something to work on that. Then we talked about having block captains in certain areas of our community. In District 1, we looked at 4 different sides of District 1 and get with the neighbors and see if we can start different block clubs, and we'll all will come together and report as one. So basically, that's about what we talked about. Unless, Stubbs, you got anything else that you remember? And I see our secretary just walked in, Ms. Warmack. Is there anything you got to add? Okay. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you. Now we'll go to District 2, advisory report, Councilman Clarence Oates.
Thank you, Mayor. We got our committee members together. Our chairperson was Anise Sabri, our vice chairperson, Abe Henderson, and our secretary, Deborah Owens. Members on the members of the committee is Shirley Hankerson, Rochelle Wells, Ruthie Williams. Committee members' meetings, we had meetings on May the 10th, May the 6th, and June the 13th. And we had our district meetings on June the 20th and September the 26th. Our accomplishments. We had a slide presentation that highlighted the purpose and goals of the district Citizens District Council Committee and described the proposal for Block Street and city improvement procedures. We conducted breakout brainstorm sessions that discussed residents' concerns, asked how citizens can be informed about local, state, federal activities that could affect the quality of life for the residents of the city, asked what methods could be used to generate citizen participation in local government and build a sense of community spirit and involvement. And we asked how we can encourage and develop future leadership for the city. I might add that the members that we had on the committee came together pretty regularly. There was good involvement, good participation when we did get together, although there was a few meetings in between where everybody wasn't able to make it. But for the main part, most of the people were there. We had a slide presentation that highlighted the purpose and goals of the Citizens District Committees and described the proposed Block Street and city improvement procedures. We conducted breakout brainstorming session groups that discussed citizens or residents' concerns, asked how citizens can be informed about local, state, and federal government activities that affect the quality of life for the residents of the city of Inkster. We asked what method could be used to generate citizen participation in local government and build a sense of community spirit and involvement, and asked how we can encourage and develop future leadership for the city. We invited the police chief, Riley, one of the code enforcement officers, Ms. Wall, to our first district meeting to speak out about issues that affect our city and answer questions. Created procedures that asked volunteers to serve as block and street captains and co-captains who will audit addresses on their assigned streets for code and drug violations. Co-captains, the captain and co-captains would complete forms, list violations, forward them to the Citizen District Secretary for forwarding and follow-up. Created forms that will be completed listing code and drug violations that were acceptable by the police chief and the code enforcement officer. What we need to help accomplish our goal. We need better communication methods to inform citizens of meetings to increase attendance. Allow meetings to be listed on the City of Inkster's water bills and website, and a plan to generate citizens' participation, citizens' interest, For the most part, our committee were very serious about what committees was established for. I think we got a lot of things accomplished. One of the things and one of the concerns that I had, and I still have, it's nothing against any citizens in particular, but I think that with our city being the city that it is, the fact that we have a council that's working on a regular basis to deal with making improvements within the community, that a lot of people need to come forward and take part in what we're trying to do. Because as we go forward, so do they. As incidents and crime continue to happen within the community, that part of the community where they live, they will be impacted. Therefore, I think that we need to get more of our citizens involved, be a part of what we're trying to do here, because we are working together as a team. we are working together to make changes within the community and to basically provide the things that the citizens of the city should have and are very well deserving of. So with that being said, I know that our committee, and we have basically been working shorthanded. We've only had a few of our members who come forward, that participate, and so forth, but yet they are interested. Even some of our block clubs have participated, but at times they fall off where they're not attending. And there's nothing against them, but if we all, in all of our districts, get the people involved who are going to be impacted, because when they have a problem, they're here in front of us about that issue. And again, I don't mean that negatively, but if you are going to be involved in the city and you want to help see things change for whatever your complaints are coming up here about, then therefore you need to help get involved with the city and help us do what we're trying to do. So I'll close with that. Seems to me I might be missing something. I'm good.
I'm good. All right, thank you. District 3 Advisory Report, Councilwoman Sandra Watley.
Good evening. Since January, the fourth Thursday of every month, we have advisory board meetings. Now, the charter calls for us to have 4 meetings throughout the year, but I have one every month. Anyone's welcome to attend. They have, like I said, the fourth Thursday of every month at 5 p.m. Okay, we started out well, and like anything else, you know, it's new, and people are interested, and then suddenly people are not interested anymore. And that's kind of the way we are now. We had our first district-wide advisory meeting where everyone was supposed to come on April 27th. We had that at High Praise Cathedral at 6 o'clock. What I try to do is have whatever meetings we're having throughout the community. Throughout District 3. And that was our first meeting. Unfortunately, when Inkster residents hear meeting or town hall, or they change it into what they want, they come with this list of complaints. And this is not what these forums are for. Yeah, you have concerns. But you're supposed to come, if it's a situation where you've been thinking at for some time that's a problem for you, quite naturally you've thought how it can be solved. We want you to bring that with you. So our first meeting got a little contentious because people were speaking of things that they don't know about. And a lot of times when you attempt to correct their uninformed opinion, they get angry. The problem I have with that kind of thing is that it taints anyone else who showed up looking for solutions. And so you have to go through a whole myriad of things to get your people back on an even keel, thinking about how we go about solving problems. Because I do have a motto, and I've used it before: when your contributions outweigh your criticisms, then you can talk, okay? That's mine. That's kind of what Clarence said, but he didn't do it as eloquently as I do. But anyway, so we have these issues. So rather than turning every meeting we have into a complaint and a gripe session where you don't get anything done, because it's like people just want to complain because that's what they do. So what we did is we said we would start turning our meetings into, instead of complaint sessions, we would turn them into project sessions. So each meeting would involve a project. Now, we first thought that we would start with the park in the city of Inkster, and specifically in District 3. And we were going to start with Denby Park. Now, there are a lot of resources out there that can be utilized to make the parks better. You can engage yourself with some of these home improvement places who will donate things to you to help make the park better. What we were going to do is go door to door in the area where the park is, and we were going to see if we could get the residents in that area to come together to help first clean up the park, and then secondly, once we got the equipment and things of that nature, that they would help maintain the park after it was taken care of. Because a lot of times, the same people saying we don't have a park are the same people who tore up the park to begin with. So we have to invest. These people, we need to invest. And if you have an investment in something, you're going to take care of it. It's as simple as that, you know. If you're not going to let somebody tear up what you just did. So that's what we were going to decide to do. And we had gotten in touch with the rec center, and we were supposed to have a meeting with him, but that did not come to fruition, but we're still working on it. All right, like I said, we have these meetings every month, and in the interim, I have people who email me about things that are going on in the district. One of the things, and this happened, we just had another district meeting, the 26th of October. It was at 5 o'clock at the fire hall, and one person showed up. But they had a complaint, so, you know. I even told them, if you had not come, I could have been out of here in 15 minutes. No, I'm kidding. Y'all look so serious. Anyway, we talked about the semi-tractor trailers that go up and down Yale and New York and don't go down John Daly like they're supposed to. So we decided at that point, because like I said, most of these sessions are supposed to be brainstorming. You're supposed to be helping me help you make what your neighborhood is supposed to be. So we decided that signs that say, you know, no overloaded trucks can go up. I mean, that's not a big deal. We make the signs ourselves in our DPW. Because a lot of these guys are saying when they're stopped it's not marked. Well, it's easy enough to get it marked, and then the officers have the way to enforce it. Now, see, a lot of problems that we do have in the city are able to be accomplished in that fashion, just, you know, and see, brainstorm, like Clarence was talking about. Okay. We have another advisory board meeting scheduled for the 3rd Thursday of November. I think that's the 16th or the 17th. It's the 16th. And this meeting will be at Thompson Towers, because there are a lot of people in that district, in that just facility, that can be utilized as, you know, helping with the district. Now, I'd like to thank Stephen Chisholm, because when we had our first advisory meeting, he and his mother and some other people helped us walk the entire side of the district. I mean, from Annapolis, we went from Annapolis to Michigan Avenue, and from Inkster Road over to Princess, and we left information on every house. Now, we got a little better response, but it wasn't that great, you know. From, like Clarence says, from all the complaints you hear, you think when you offered an opportunity to solve these situations, there would be more people who would involve themselves in that. Unfortunately, I have not found that to be the case. But that does not mean we won't still keep working towards a solution to a lot of the problems. And we have solved some of them, like the cleanup that we've had in the area. We are attempting to develop a coalition of churches in District 3 so that we can have our meetings at different churches throughout the year, because I fully intend to continue to have these every month, you know? So if you wish to show up, they're usually, like I said, the fourth Thursday of every month at 5 o'clock. And I don't think there's too much else that we did during this time period. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you. All right, District 4, Advisory Report, Councilman Stephen Chisholm.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So far, I have addressed multiple concerns that citizens have as I can. One, some citizens have wanted to start block clubs, which I believe they have, and that is facilitated through our community relations officer. Two, I've established multiple meeting places around the district, which should enable everyone to attend, so we're not just always meeting at one location because, for whatever reason, my citizens have voiced to me that some people won't come to the meetings because it's at the church or it's at this location. So we fix that. I've built relations with one of the apartment complexes, establishing a direct line of communication with them too, because first time I went over there to actually put out notice about the district advisory meeting, they had no idea about a city council or that they even had a city council representative. So I met the general manager, the grounds manager. I ended up going back and visiting on the night of their neighborhood watch and met multiple citizens that night. And that same night, the general manager told the manager to tell me we want to open our doors to Councilman Chisholm so he can have his next advisory committee meeting here. I made tons of house calls. My recorded secretary of the CDAC went to one of them. We sat down there for 2 hours and just listened to the lady talk, her and the other older gentleman. And they kept saying, "You're the guy on the TV." I said, "Yeah, that's me." I did ride with ordinance addressing issues that I see or were brought to my attention, and just kind of got an understanding of how the process goes when complaints are called in and the stuff that they see. Sometimes it's a lengthier process than what we think when we call it in to just want it fixed right then and there. It has to go through. And after that day of riding with her, I said, you got like 2 weeks worth of paperwork right now. If you just sat in the office and just did all paperwork, you wouldn't even see anything else all of North of Michigan Avenue. With the help of Councilwoman Mitchell, Inktown Pedal Push was brought to fruition. 7, I developed an email chain, which is not as large as I would like, but we're going to continue to grow that. We've appointed a citizen from District 4 to the Cable Commission and working on other commissions. 9, I've assisted with providing resources to amplify the Inkster Bengals Family Fun Day. 10, we're actually getting citizens involved in stuff. People are actually feeling like Luana said earlier, who's the vice chair of my advisory committee. They feel a part of the city and they feel compelled to get involved and do something, become a part of the resolution. For instance, one of the newer citizens in my district, Tove and his wife, they came to city council meeting, they brought up that they needed a stop sign and stuff over in the area because one of those intersections at Shadowline and Stolman, it didn't have one, so people were just going through. Chief Riley got on it, they got the stop signs and everything out there. Citizens have noticed it and they're quite excited. And then he also had brought to our attention, DPS did some work, and the work that they did the yard in, the driveway was never paved back smoothly, so the resident that lived there was in a wheelchair having a hard time, so that got resolved as well. And that's the type of stuff I really like to see, that everybody is getting involved and they're not just calling us up here to fix everything in the city. And due to unforeseen circumstances, at a later date, I will be appointing a new chairperson. Got to figure out who. And I will be finalizing the date for one more district meeting. Kind of got mixed around in there because it's supposed to be having one every quarter, but I'm still going to have another one. There were a few unmet goals, and I've included them in what I wish to accomplish. My future projects involve talking to Craig and trying to find out how we can get the restroom facilities and everything over in Westwood Park resolved, because I know what's going to happen next spring when the Inkster Bengals get back to playing. Also,
that DPS problem, I can tell you who's addressed that too. Really.
Okay.
Not Craig's problem, that's the city's problem for DPS for years. They can go in there and clean the restrooms up, and the restrooms are operable. I said clean it up. I said clean it up. You know what I'm saying?
But clean it up. And then the other thing I wanted to look at too was possibly just because how they got gutted and stuff, we need, it's kind of ducked off, even though the apartments and everything are there. Everybody doesn't always have eyes on it, so hopefully we could get some type of camera system or something over there to keep eyes on it 24/7 instead of having to, you know, just, we could do something. It'll be a deterrent at least.
It's locked up. I mean, it's locked.
It's locked, but it's empty.
What you saying, the bathroom?
They're gone.
They broke in there. She said they broke in. Yeah, they had a steel door.
Well, I can say I had a party at Westwood Park 5 years ago, and I was totally, he came out, opened up the bathrooms, I was totally impressed how the bathroom looked. And now that we have the field of football, there's nothing in there, everything, every pipe, every toilet, everything is gone.
Wow.
So that's
They
just,
had to do that in the last few years because we go in there for election equipment and
well,
I'm just
that,
being honest, it was pretty good. Last few years that we went
Y'all
there.
took it.
all right, well, that's something that we're gonna work on. So I just wanted to bring that up. Want to also develop a better streamlined communication with my residents. Councilwoman Watley assisted me as well as members of my Citizen District Advisory Committee when we went door to door passing out information. It's weird how we did that. I visited personally at least 75% of the homes in my district, and everybody else had did the other ones and apartments and stuff like that. I personally put information on people's doors that I knew. They told me they never got it. So I knew then either people were just throwing it away as junk mail. It didn't blow up and down the street because if it did, it had my phone number and my name, and y'all would have been calling City Hall and reporting me for littering. So, and I even did drive-bys, and I went back past houses and saw the stuff was gone. It was taken from behind the mailbox or on the door, wherever we left it. So I need to figure something else out, because all that printing, ink, paper, and then just manpower, that's a lot of waste of time for people to say they don't have your information, they don't know who you are.
Say something there you didn't say about our district too. And
First of all, you're out of order.
Wait a minute. Let's see.
Dang.
Yep, so either we're gonna do that or we'll end up going the block captor route. Just all depends on what the group decides. We're gonna find more activities that citizens would like to be involved in. We're gonna bring the district flower garden to fruition as well. One point that got brought up about it was, okay, who's gonna be in charge of water and stuff? So, the beautification committee. We'll be polling individuals for district cleanups and coordinate that with ordinance as well. And then gonna find out what the underlying issues are in my district and reverse it, just to show citizens that we are moving forward. It's a reason that people don't want to participate, and we really need to find that out. Some people actually tell you can resolve it, and some just kind of shy away. So we need to find out what's going on. And the last thing, I found out a lot of people don't read the calendar. So what I might end up doing is making a small informational card or pamphlets, just like how we had a brochure for the Inktown Pedal Push. Because a lot of the calls that I get are, who do I call because a water main broke? And I was like, you don't know the call? Or the other day I was just talking to Mayor Nolan, and I was asking the person who called me, I said, well, did you guys invite the mayor? They said, oh, how do I get in touch with the mayor? And so I would need to address that and correct that as well.
He has a lunch every
We also were in City Hall every day.
And
The water bill notice? Well, since Clarence had addressed, or I'm sorry, Councilman Oden had addressed that, we can look in that together jointly with putting that on the water bills.
Yeah, we've all asked.
We looked at it, I think we looked at it.
yeah, didn't they
discussed
look at that
Yeah,
before?
we looked at it before. The issue is whether it costs us extra money.
Right.
And I think the answer is yes. But it's just about how
Once you
much.
see that bill,
and
you'll
then what we
care.
include on it. You know.
And that is all I have.
Oh, thank you. District 5, Advisory Report, Councilwoman Kim Howard.
Hi, good, thank you, Mayor. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I had 3 district meetings. I'm going to still have one more, but in attendance on the first meeting, I had 5 residents. Second meeting, I had 12 residents, and on the third meeting, I had 7. And basically, we talked about the same thing each time. The topic of discussion was blight. The city streets dirty and with debris, residents not cleaning in front of their streets and their homes, grass not being cut, vacant lots not being cut, dumping was a major topic, cars parked on lines. Let's see. So I did get that answered through Jerome. City did install cameras for dumping. I'm not sure where. I don't really want to know where, but they're out there. Okay, the next issue that we had was the water bills. The high water bills, reconnect fees, along with the late charge. So I told them they need to talk to the treasurer to find find that answer out. I told them the reason why, but sometimes they need someone else to tell you. Residents want to know on the water bill, some residents' water bills were waived, some were not. I do know Mark used to negotiate with residents, but how far he took it, I don't know. They wanted to have their water bills color-coded to let them know when the water is due to be turned off, but like I said, we go through a company that prints them, and it probably would cost us more money to do that. But when we were under a consent agreement, and they also wanted to know why, they wanted to go back to every 3 months versus monthly bills. But at the time where they changed the monthly bills, we were under a consent agreement, and we needed cash flow. So that's why we took it from every 3 months down to 1 month. So that's why we have a monthly bill as of today. The next topic, we had speeding cars going through stop signs. We have a lot of speeding cars going through stop signs of the city of Inkster. Commercial trucks going through, like Sandra Watley said, they're going down residential streets that's not allowed. And I do know some signs are up on the streets off of Inkster. Maybe they're not big enough or they just don't care. I did have a resident call me today regarding commercial trucks that stay on Princeton. They go down their street at 6 o'clock in the morning. So maybe we need to talk to the police and find out if we can. Yeah, you aware of that? Okay. The second meeting, I had Jerome and Dawn Walls come in and answer most of the questions that I had for the first meeting, and they were very good in answering some of our residents about the complaints that they had. We have a situation now that on my third meeting, when we know people are in violation, and they wanted to know how long does it take before they're fined, how much they're fined, and if they keep doing it, because we do see. Can't say which ones, but we do have an offender that keeps doing what he was fined for before, and residents want to know how long is it going to take before he actually stops. And basically that was it. So the summary of my district meetings is the same thing that we've been going through blight and how we're going to be able to keep the city clean. Mini bikes, past summer topic on that. They flying through the neighborhood, going through stop signs. So I'm not sure what the answer is. Our heads together. It's very dangerous and loud, and they drive through the city in the middle of the night. So, and that's it for my district meeting.
Okay, thank you. District 6, Advisory Report, Councilwoman Connie Mitchell.
Good evening, all.
Good evening.
Glad to see you here this evening. Our district, well, I'm sitting here saying our group is a kind of a little different group. Our chairperson is here, Mr. Simmons, in the back, if you just raise your hand. And other members of our advisory council, if you just raise your hand. We have a core group. We really do wish more people would come out. But we do have a core group of people who do work hard with me. And one of the beauties of my group is that we don't do a lot of complaining. We talk about ways to fix things. For example, in one of our meetings, one of our members said, you know, we have a communications problem in the city. What if we put an electronic sign in the median? So as people drive through the city of Inkster, they can catch an idea of what's going on in the city. So these are the kinds of things that my group is coming up with, and I'm very proud to be able to work with them. Of course, we did have a very successful forum on blight. It was well attended. We had excellent speakers on that evening, and people did complain, but that's what people are going to do. And we just took the lemons and made lemonade out of it, and we're just moving forward. We would really love to have more people involved. I get calls all the time from people who live in my district, who don't live in my district, to come fix their problems. And, you know, I don't know whether people are afraid to fix their problems anymore or whether they just don't know how to fix their problems. So some people in my group will very quickly call and let me know if there's a problem in a particular area in which they live in the district. So one of the big obstacles to all of us, I think, is communication in the city. Not everyone is technologically savvy, so they can't all go on the website and check things. They don't all do Facebook or Twitter or whatever else might be out there. I am slowly working on developing an app for my own district, and I'm halfway through the app now, and that will be one way to let people, at least in District 6, know what's going on. When I'm ready to have a meeting, and we haven't been meeting monthly until I ran into some unforeseen family circumstances back during the summer. I post it on Facebook. I make sure that it's on all the sites that I'm a part of on Facebook, and I put it on the city website. And that's basically the only way we have of really getting the word to kind of spread, except for word of mouth. We had scheduled a forum on safety and security that had to be postponed, but we are going to go back to that. We are moving our meetings around. We met here to begin with, but then we had a very interesting meeting at the Twin Towers. They thought we were there to address their issues, which was fine, but what we did find out was that they do feel neglected, and I did let the chair of the Housing Commission know that perhaps it would be a good idea if they would set up a meeting with them. But we did have one of our meetings at the Twin Towers, and the last meeting we held during the month of October was at Gracie C. So we're moving our meetings around and slowly pulling ourselves back together. And I, you know, with the help of a few things that we know it will take a while to fix, I think that at least my group is going to be outstanding, because they work very hard with me, and they're very positive about Inkster and what we can do with the city. That's my report.
All right, thank you. Next, we have Mayor and Council Communication. Seems like we just heard that. But we'll do it again. We'll start this end. Councilwoman Howard. Do you have anything, just any communication?
Oh, no.
No, you good. Councilman Chisholm. Councilwoman Wilder.
Let me see.
Check your notebook.
Would like to remind everybody that ICANN is having their eye candy convoy tomorrow night. That's where we get in our cars, loaded up with candy, and go to the different housing communities and let the kids trick-or-treat from the trunk that don't have a way to get to the parties and stuff that are out there. So we're having that. We're going to start at 4 o'clock. We raised the time because it gets dark early. And we're going to be meeting in the Berger Baylor Woodson Community Center parking lot at 4 o'clock. And from there, we'll be going to Lamone, Parkside, Denby, to the others, and we'll end up at Dartmouth, and then we'll come back to the rec center and drop off what we didn't give away for whatever function they're having. So, that's it.
All right, thank you. Councilman O.
Nothing other than hope to continue to move forward in our efforts. Council members, get more people involved, get our city cleaned up. Trying to do now at this point, it looks like we're moving in the right direction if we just get more people involved. That's it.
All right, thank you. Councilwoman Mitchell.
One of the things that's going on now in the city is that the Economic Development Corporation and Tifa are conducting a downtown Inkster desirability survey. The purpose of the survey is to find out what our citizens would like to see in our downtown so that we can begin to make downtown a viable place to be with good entertainment, good services, and the like. I do have a few copies here with me this evening if anyone would like to take one and get it back to City Hall, to the city clerk before November 8th. We have had very good success getting it around town. They are coming in from every kind of direction in the city, and it really is a sample. We are putting them out in various and sundry places just to see what various segments of our population would be interested in seeing. Once we understand what you want in the downtown, as I said the other day, it's much better for the citizens to tell us what they would support than to have bureaucrats develop it, and then it's nothing that you want to be a part of. So that's why we're doing the survey. And once we get the surveys back, we're going to disaggregate the information that we find, and we'll be moving from there. What we're trying to do is to develop a strategic plan for putting downtown together again. Seems that Miss Ruthie has something to say.
I got something to say. Can I just say what I got to say? It's going to help everybody. It's gonna
No.
Okay. And our communication, but we thought a great idea to get the citizens involved in our district. We're gonna make some yard signs, just like people running for election. And when we having our meeting that particular, the next night, we're gonna put them up so people can read District 2's having a advisory meeting.
That's a good idea.
Thank you. Thank you. I did forget. I'm sorry, Mayor, if I may. I did forget about that. One other thing I did forget about also, and I think it's very important to say, is that Ms. Owens has been more than outstanding, helping to get District 2 off the ground and started. She continues to be there, providing information, ideas, etc. And I just want to acknowledge the fact that she's always there, and she's been a real big help to me.
Good. Clarence, I think, mentioned he's going to give you a Christmas bonus, financial bonus. So, I can't wait to see what that is.
And can I add, while we're talking about communications, one thing I did forget. My advisory council talked about purchasing a bulk mail permit so that we can send information out to the people in our district using a bulk mail permit. So that's something that we are going to investigate. We're trying everything we can to communicate with people.
Could you possibly bring that bit information back to the rest of the district?
Oh, good.
Bulk information?
Yeah, the bulk thing, bring the information back to the rest of the districts, and it might be something that where each of us can share the price of it. And,
Yeah,
make it
because we
more-
were going to pay for it ourselves, but we could share it.
yeah, if,
And Felicia's saying she has the form.
yeah, just bring back the information for the rest of it. It might be something we can each donate to and utilize when we
Makes
have things
sense.
to send.
Yep, give them some detail.
All right.
Well,
Mayor,
yeah, that's true.
Okay. Ms. Owens, be careful. I think Clarence trying to get rid of them diapers we gave him. that might be your bonus.
Oh, my goodness.
Speaking of that, would you mind moving her down on the other?
Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay. Now, we've heard everyone's complaining for what's going on in their district. And that was, well, not complaints, not all complaints, it was a lot of good things.
Yes.
And what people were thinking about. Now, I would like to say, as being a senior council person,
You mean old?
No.
I'm not going to tell you what kind of weapons I got on me right now, but, but over the years, I've given quite a few town hall meetings, and I learned to get people to come to the town hall meetings is to feed them.
Chicken wing.
Because when I had the last meeting for my district, I fed them hot dogs and chips and pop, and I had more people out there than I normally would have. When I had the town hall meetings, I fed them chicken, hors d'oeuvres, and everything. So, and it's really not that expensive. Up is where you shop at. Not that expensive.
Volunteering to.
Not for you, I'm not. But nevertheless, but you know, I'm listening to the complaints, and some of these complaints that the citizens have, I know I brought some of them back to council. Some of them have been acted on, some haven't. Some of them are ordinances that need to be enforced. Like, for instance, there are people who are driving over in over on Farnham. They're driving over the sidewalk. There's a big sidewalk over there, and instead of them going around, they just drive down the sidewalk. Now, Michael, we talked about what can we do to stop them from driving down the sidewalk. Well, we can't put. Well, Edison won't let them put a big rock or something there because it's in the right of way.
They used to have chains across there. Years ago, they had chains.
A chain cross there, but they probably cut that off, didn't they? Okay, so and then and still.
It sounds like his district out of control. They driving outside.
Also, we're going to get back to what I'm trying to get to. Also, on Pine Street, over on that same side, there's a stop sign over by the school that people run stop sign all day long. Now, I did bring that issue to the police chief that if they put a car right there, we can slow down some of those people that run the stop signs. But that's all over the city of Inkster, they run the stop sign. Okay, so.
When the school was there, it's not needed anymore. It's not needed anymore. When the school.
Some people over there want that sign there, and there are some kids still over there, and they want them to stop. Okay, nevertheless, they need to stop. Let it go again.
Well, I can put you up out of here.
Okay. And then there's Pine Street on my side of Middlebelt, because I live right there off Spring Hill and Pine, and all through the night you can hear people running up and down Pine non-stop, like they're going from Irene all the way down to Harrison non-stop. And I know there's 2 stop signs, and they just be flying down Pine Street. And but we, like I said, we need help from the administration, mayor.
I'm gonna get you a safety patrol belt. You go out there.
I want patrol cars out there. I want patrol cars out there. We get more than 2 cars. We maybe got 2 drivers, but I need more than 2 cars. Okay. But we do need to talk with the administration, the police chief, and figure out how we can combat some of these issues here. Because the citizens keep telling us the same thing over and over and over and keep asking us, well, what are y'all doing about it? So we need to sit down and figure out ways on stopping some of this stuff from happening. There are a lot of streets that don't have no parking signs because over the years somebody done knocked the signs down. DPS hasn't put them back up. So there's some things that need to be taken care of that probably can help some of the issues. And then these people who are breaking these ordinances or breaking the rules, you know, we need to have court enforcement, the court, somebody enforce these things.
Put some sleeping police out there to slow them down on Pine.
Yeah, we're gonna get some. Well, we need more patrol cars. as far as the speeding
Some
goes.
people utilize that. Patrol car to set up.
They figure that out after a second.
Ain't that smart?
Oh, yeah, Carla, that's the street that we had paved nice and smooth, but that's a drag strip too.
Well, District 1 is a mess.
It goes into District 3, on over to the other side to 5, Carlisle.
6, Magnolia.
It's just a big problem, Mr. Mayor, on the south side.
South side, the whole south side?
Yeah.
The whole south side messed up.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I keep hearing everyone say that people are bringing problems to the meetings. Section 711, Citizen District Committee, duties of council members. It says B, proper procedures for assessing the various city departments and agencies to receive information, request services, or to resolve problems. I know the calendar tells everybody how to call for different problems, but I think that maybe at these meetings, we should have a listing of those departments again. And if you have a certain problem, call this number or do that, and then maybe that will quiet some of the complaints that come to the meeting.
That don't hurt.
But what we have going on, see, we did that, like I said, I'm sitting in council, we had people to call those, we'll call those offices, and the problem back then, and some of that problem still going on right now, is people not answering the phone.
And then they should be accountable.
Well, they are. And part of the communication part of it, we're solving that. I mean, that's where we're going to this see, click, fix it. So everyone can contact whoever they need to contact just with their cell phone. They don't have to call anybody. They just push the app button, push complaint, type in what's going on, take a picture of it. It's a pothole, whatever the situation is. And then that creates the accountability because it goes directly to the department. It's CC'd to myself and someone else in the administration. So we know when it comes in, we get notified when it's resolved. So if it's not resolved, we see it. We can call the department head, hey, what's going on with this? It came in 2 days ago, what's the status? And that's a way to make sure that they're accountable. But some of these little things, what we're gonna need you to do is, in addition to the Black Campus, which I think is a good idea, we have to get everybody to download this app. We spend a great deal of money on this app, so we have to use it. If only 100 people sign up, we're wasting our money. But if we can get everybody has a cell phone. Even if it's an Obama phone, you got a cell phone. We have to download this app, and then when stuff happens in your district or in the city, we can send an alert notification to them. It's just that easy. Instead of you going knocking on doors, printing out flyers, I can send an alert. Something happened, District 4 advisory meetings today at 6 o'clock at the rec center. We can send it right to everybody.
To notify me?
Yeah, and we send it to the whole city, so maybe other folks other than District 4 can go, and we can start doing things together. I'm sorry.
Do we have any type of data on how many people are using Notify Me?
Oh, on the website? Oh, yeah. Yeah, we gotta do better.
yeah, we
People are
gotta
not
do
going to the website. People are not doing anything to cause them to do anything other than call their council person. I mean, and half of them won't call the council person.
If they know who the council person is.
So that's when it happens, we call them. They don't have to call us.
Yeah, but they're not signing up.
But for people who are technology challenged,
Right, they won't use it.
then perhaps they can. It wouldn't hurt to have a list that we take to the district advisory meeting of if you have this problem, call that person. If you have that problem, call. It wouldn't hurt.
But that's the calendar. I mean, what we're doing is we're reproducing the same thing we've already done. If you got 12 people at your meeting, we're not solving the problem.
Just give it to them and say, here, you call.
We're gonna get all y'all grandkids come out and we're gonna hit your district. We're gonna go door to door and get people to download this app.
Give them a free phone?
That's what we're gonna do.
But then we gotta when we talk about the block captains, we have to go out to our knocking on the door. Hey, look, y'all download the app yet? That's how you know what's going on in the city of Inkster. It takes 20 seconds, but people don't.
Is it now? Is it effective now?
Not yet. We're going through the training and stuff now. So when we roll it out, we need to make sure everybody downloads it. Then we can communicate. I mean, even if they don't file a complaint that way, at least we can get information to them. At least we can do that. You know.
And people gonna have to want to get involved, because when we was doing when we had the to get out the vote thing for the school district. I had 5 kids, and we went to the whole district and put a flyer on everybody's door in District 1. Everybody had a flyer. And when we had the town hall meeting for that, and we had 2 town hall meetings. The first meeting, 3 people showed up. Second meeting, 1 person showed up. But we went to everybody's house in District 1 and put a flyer on everybody's house. Now I'm talking about the meeting we had for, to get people to talk about the school election. Now for the district meeting.
You want me to tell him he out of order? He trying to check you like that in front of him.
Oh, no, he wouldn't even recognize those kids. I understand. I said 5 kids. About 25 to 30 people.
You had chicken wings?
Oh, that's because we had the food.
You had the food?
But not everybody came for the food because Stubbs was at every meeting, and yourself. And thank you for that.
So part of it sounds like what everybody's saying, the same thing as communication, being able to let people know what's going on. Then we need to be able to funnel the complaints to somebody who can take care of the complaints. You know, call your council person. That's great. People call me every day. That's fine. But for people who are familiar with technology, we can cut out the middleman and we can go straight to the source. So we're gonna push hard. We need everybody on this because it won't cost you any money. We just got to get people to the Play app, and you just download the app. You're in business. You don't have to set up an account. You don't have to put no credit card in. There's nothing you got to do but have the app on your phone. You got to push. You got to push a button. You do have to push a button. But we're gonna take people out and just go to different functions. Maybe we have a big town hall in each district, and we said we are gonna do a pep rally. Get people out. We'll feed them. Come out so we can make sure they don't leave without the app download.
But that's what the advisory means. They can teach them at our meeting.
Right.
So let's get some food together. Let's feed them, because we have to get them out. We have to get them out. And you know, winter's coming. You know, people hibernate in the winter. So we got to figure out the best time to roll this whole thing out.
We're not serving hot toddies, are we?
Hot toddies.
Let's go. Let's go.
You took it to a whole new level. Now.
You sure did.
Just about. Yes.
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 She's able to drive that.
I don't like doing a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, I did it work. So if the app that you're talking about, if stuff could come up automatically on it like this one does now, that would be very, very helpful. Then you wouldn't have to remember, oh, was I supposed to look at it on
Right.
because you may not, like me, I don't know how to check my account every day because I don't want to be.
Alert you.
No, you have to turn it on. It's right on your phone. You just touch it.
Well, what was?
Or it comes straight to your email.
Yeah, I got one that comes through a text.
That's you signed up for the notifying. But this is different. This is for a complaint. They drive that. The resident.
Maybe like 2 hours before, I get it pops up in my phone or vibrate or ring or whatever immediate notification is.
Right.
And then I don't have to do anything.
The last one we had to come. Make
See, ClickFix. That's all if you have a complaint. So she had she wouldn't have to check.
Well, we're trying to. No, you don't turn it on. We're trying to make it as easy for you as possible. You have to download the app onto your phone. You have to do that.
She could take
There you go.
pictures and
So once then it'll alert you. You get if we send something out, you'll have it on. You'll have
It
it.
even tells me about traffic in Dearborn.
You know, and then people can't say they don't have it. Now people can still not come.
yeah, she gets not.
You're right. Yeah.
Yes, all day long, CNN and click on Detroit.
You get tired.
And Huffington Post.
But we do it the old-fashioned way. We get somebody out, go knock on each door, you know, dodge the pit bulls, the pistols, and whatever else is going. I mean, I'm all for that, but some people are uncomfortable knocking on people's doors. Some, you know, I don't even open my door. If you didn't call me first, I might not even walk to the peephole, you know, because you know people don't just pop up at my house. Well,
Yeah.
you know, if they do, they don't get the door open. So.
And if you come to the front door, I know you don't belong there.
We got some new in place, we need to, instead of always knocking negative stuff on it, let's That's what we need to stop at and say, well, this person can't do it. My daughter's grandmother, she stayed with kids. She got kids that can down the app. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, what I'm trying to say is, let's stop knocking things and just say we want to do it and we want to help whoever. Wherever you go, wherever you set it up, call me. I'll be there.
Okay, we all gonna be there. We all gonna do it.
Who are technologically challenged will be able to do it.
Oh, you can do this.
Oh, yeah.
This is easy. This is easy. And y'all remember, y'all look around here. Most of the people who at this meeting, these are the people who do most of the heavy lifting in this community. We probably got 20, 30 people do all the work. And we have 25,000 people in this community. I mean, we have to get other people involved. I think that's what Clarence was saying in a nice way. He wasn't really trying to be threat. If you want it to be better, you have to make it
Gotta be
better.
involved.
20 people, 30 people can't change a whole city by themselves.
Right.
It's impossible. But we can change it together. That's serious. Oh, would you stop saying?
Mr. Mayor? Mr. Mayor, can I ask a question? You know how like you go in Chicago and you go on that E-Pass by accident and you get a ticket in the mail? Like me?
You did that before?
Yes, but it was raining. I didn't know. I couldn't see. But anyway, can we install some of those cameras, like
That's what
wherever the offending things are going on, to take their pictures if they run stop signs, if they. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
We're actually talking about, not talking about it. We're testing that out.
Yeah, because that would.
But we don't want to tell everybody.
Right, but that would, that would help.
Get off discussion. We don't want to talk about it.
And when you go over the speed limit, it shoots your license plate.
Right.
What that machine called?
No, you talking about like a camera, like they have in Canada?
Like a camera, yeah. If you go over the 5 miles over the speed limit, it takes your license plate.
Yeah. They're just like motion activated cameras. They're expensive. I mean,
Because those are the ones that's on the light pole, way up so nobody can reach it. Yeah.
we priced out the camera we're looking at about $3,000 per. But it may have to go down. I mean, we have to change the game.
Yeah.
We have to change the game. So
If that's all they cost, you can make that up. You make that up in a month.
I mean, a police officer gonna cost you $80,000, whatever, with all his geared. So we're going to have to invest in our city. It's not going to change by itself.
Better look for some grant money.
That speed thing will pay for itself in a month. In one spot.
Not a month, but it'll pay for itself. Yeah, you right.
If we put it on one little place that I'm talking about, it'll pay for itself.
You said, wait, by your house?
My street is a drag street, the man down there, he got to test his car.
No. So you know who's doing it already.
I know.
You just come tell, you know that, right? You ain't a snitch, you're a neighbor. Come on and tell. Look at it.
All right, let's go.
Oh, we got a motion to adjourn?
I got one more thing to say.
Oh, you got more?
Got one more thing to say. Please continue to shop Inkster. Thank you.
So move.
Aren't you all going to have a concluding statement to thank the people for coming to the, my goodness, where's your decorum?
Thank everybody for coming out. God bless and good night.
And since they're the staples of the community, they need to bring somebody with them every time they come to a
We should have had some chicken for that.
meeting.